So this Grand National has been equipped with an Astroroof from the factory. Factory sunroof car. After so long, it will leak. And that's what I'm seeing on the car right now. Whenever it rains outside, we're seeing water coming in. Not sure exactly where, but I know it's from the sunroof. So thanks to GBodyParts, I was able to get this sunroof seal kit within 2 to 3 days. I originally ordered it from Tamraz, but that took months. And after following up so many times, they did not have an ETA for me. I just took a look at GBodyParts. Not sure why I didn't go with them in the first place, but clearly they had it in stock and they were able to get it to me quickly. So in order to do this seal, you have to drop the entire sunroof from the car, and we're in a really good position to do that because I need a headliner anyway. So in case you're working on your car and you know you need to do something about the sunroof, you might as well just go ahead and rip it all down and put up a fresh new headliner or recover yours, because chances are it's probably drooping anyway. Here's my factory sunroof. On the far right side, you'll see the brown motor. And I've been having issues with this. It kind of turns slowly. Also, I've been looking at this shade that also needs some attention. So while we have it down, we'll be able to pop that out, recover that, and get ready to match the headliner to that as well. We have drains on all 4 sides, indicated by that hose right there with the yellow clamp. We have to unclamp those and blow air through all 4 hoses that are on each side of the car. Make sure that those sunroof drains are free and clear. And then also we'll need to give some attention to the tracks. That's actually what the glass rides on. Make sure they're fully lubricated and there's no issues there. While I have it down, you'll see right in the center of the screen, there are some cracks on the plastic pieces. That is all around here. So I'll be tackling the, not replacement, but the fixing of that and the repainting as well. So it's gonna be a big episode. So thanks for watching along with me. Let's get the sunroof down. First off, let's remove these clips. We'll remove these and blow air through these lines. Make sure that they're all clear. The channel for the front drains, they come down this A-pillar and they exit right down here. So that's what you want to blow down. And let's see. 1 down, 3 to go. So I blew air in the right front channel and I'm getting a lot of resistance. Air is coming out through down there, but it's a lot less than the air that was coming out on this side. Maybe we can blow back into the car and see if that clears the blockage. If not, we're gonna have to root down through that hose, if not replace it, to see what the hiccup is. I just came over on this side getting ready to do the same thing. I touched the hose and this fell out. Not sure exactly what it is. Hard as a rock. Let's see if that improved our airflow. It's a lot better, not perfect. All right, so I think I found the obstruction. If you take a look in there, that is pretty firm and blocking up a lot of that hose. I'm going to try to stick a screwdriver in there to try to break it up. If not, I can always just cut the line just 1/4 of an inch to remove that blockage. Seems like something was nesting up in there and it just wreaked havoc on my drain line. In case you're curious, I had to cut the end of the hose, and this is what the block side looks like. Had more of these things in there. But now it blows through free and clear, just as easy as the other side. And now we can turn our attention to the rear drains. So here's an example. These are the rear sunroof drains. This one blows through free and clear. And if you're curious on where it ends up, it goes right through here. So you can take off this panel. It's just one screw that's at the bottom and it clips away. And right in the middle, let me get it to focus. you'll see that's where the drain ends up. And from there, it drains at a couple of holes at the bottom of the quarter panel.
Okay. So in the year and a half that I've had this car, I have never opened a sunroof all the way. I am a little bit nervous to see what happens, if anything does happen, but we need to find out because we need to take all of this apart. So ignition is on. I have my sunroof switch right here. My motor is right here. So I'm looking at the hex right here to see if it's spinning, how well the motor's turning. I have a full charge on my battery, so I expect it to work if all of the components are functional. I'm gonna move out of the way slightly because you don't know what may fall. Let's see. That went a lot better than I expected, gotta be honest. But it takes a lot of fight out of doing this job if the sunroof itself can move. Let's get the sunroof out of here.
So right now I'm taking a look along the side of the sunroof assembly, and you're going to see two sets of bolts. These three shiny ones that are pointed toward the metal of the roof, and then these nuts that are pointed upwards toward the sunroof assembly. And those are the ones you want to take apart. Once you drop the 6 that are along the sides, and then the 4 that are along the front, that'll give you everything you need to separate the sunroof assembly from the roof of the car.
So it's another day. I got the sunroof out and it was just quitting time for me. So let me show you a little bit closer what it's like to take this thing out. So here is the distribution block. The motor mounts right underneath here. You can see the screws for it right here and here. And this is what the drive gear moves. There's these cables and rods on each side that motorize the sunroof back and forth. And we already know how bad this seal was. This seal is also pinched in areas that it shouldn't be, but got rust in the back here. And it looks like it's joined together with silicone that has hardened. I was hearing a rustling when moving this sunroof all the way back, and here's why. There's actually a book mounted back here. I believe this is the shade for it, the underside of the shade. So we're gonna need to get to a point where we can get that out, but I'm just in awe of how it looks. Rats were definitely sunbathing in this. Look, look at what they did. Wow. All right, let's get this torn apart. All right, so I'm about to remove the sunroof, and let me show you what you have to do. The 10 bolt right here, and an accompanying one on the other side. There are bolts right here, here, accessible underneath. Same thing here, and then this one as well. Every bolt that has adjustment, like this one, I mark before I remove, so I know exactly which way it goes and how I need to adjust it to fit back in. Same thing with the ones on the back. When you get up here, don't remove these. There is a bracket right here, and there's Torx bits right in there. They look like T25, so you need 10mm and T25 to remove these. As far as actuating the slide function back, I'm using my power probe, but you can use a battery or anything else. I have the ground hooked up to the green wire and power connected to the black wire, and that will move it back. Just reverse the polarity to get it to move forward. So let's get it removed. So I've gotten all of the track bolts removed, and I want to show you all something. You're kind of at a point here where you can take out the glass or take out the entire track. I want to take the entire track out to clean it, rust proof and paint it and all of that. But if yours looks better than mine and you just want to take the glass out, get it all the way in this back position. See? And then you'll see that this roller lines up with an exit. You just lift that up and over the track on both sides, and then you can move this forward and get the backside out. All right, so that's what this assembly looks like. I had to remove these 10s that are on the back of these two brackets, and everything else kind of just fed its way out of the way. Gathered all of the dust together in this pile and took a look at this magazine. Man, the 80s has me so nostalgic. Look at this, 1989 porcelain. Oh my goodness. Alligator belts. Look at the 80s, man. In any case, here is the sunshade. It's real easy to take apart. Once you just apply a little bit of pressure and you get these slides off. As you can see, they're kind of just pushed to fit. They kind of ride the indentation that's in this unit. It's a thin metal, so I'll be coating that and making sure all of that's rust free. There's this kind of duct tape like item across the front. I'll see if I can find something to replicate that. Same thing on the other side. And of course there's screws on the other side of this to get this pull handle off. So we'll get that off and shine that up onto the outside because I ran out of counter space. But here is the here's the seal. Here's everything removed off of it. Looks real nice. I got to take a look at how to get that seal off. It is sun baked. And then finally, there's this trim piece that surrounds the glass. It is cracked in a few places, most notably there. We got one here and one on the other side. So I'll look at getting that back together, put some reinforcement behind it, and be getting this off and painting that all black, sanding off the rust. So there's a lot to do here, but thankfully everything is apart. I was able to get underneath the channels and sweep everything out, but I'm gonna blow everything out while I'm at it. Remember, we blew out the sunroof drains from the hose side, but we did not from the sunroof side. So as you're cleaning up, make sure you're blowing these out, you're blowing up the channel, everything, get everything out of the way. Clean out these runs and re-grease them. I'm gonna do some research and see what is the best lubricant to use on these because I don't want dust and debris sticking to whatever I choose. So I'll read up on that. I'll let you know what I find out. And just be careful, mark everything, and take pictures along the way so you know how stuff goes back together. This is clearly the big seal that'll go around all of this. And what I'm seeing here will most likely be what goes around the glass surround. So thanks for watching so far. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I know you like this stuff. If not, let me know in the comments why not. I can make improvements, just let me know.
Thanks to Highway Stars, I have just received my Astroroof headliner, and it also came with enough fabric to cover the shade for the sunroof. So everything looks great. It has the holes cut out in the backside for the switches and everything like that. And of course the sunroof is cut out. It's just difficult to see here, but you can see the hole there. It also has the cutouts for where the quarter panel covers for the interior go in. Everything is a really, really nice and great condition, really nice feel, and it'll match the carpets perfectly. So thankfully, they are gracious enough to include enough fabric to cover 2 sunshades. So even if you mess up on the first one, you do have a backup. This measures out to be about 35 inches wide and even longer than the roof. So you're great there. You have enough material to do everything you need to. The sunshade measures out about 34 inches wide. So you do have 1.5 inches for overhang, so you can adhere it to the face of it and have some overlap for where those channels ride within the sunroof for opening and closing the shade. So what I'll do is I'll cut this in half or cut it to fit, and I'll use my Super 77 to tack up the back of this and tack the shade right here, and we'll get it all together. So the 2 tools I've been using, first this heat gun on the left and this scraper on the right, and I've just been going right along that seam and taking up all that dried rubber. This is the final piece that I have left, and once that's done, I'll be able to reseal. Back in the garage, everything is all cleaned up. I took a wire wheel to all of these edges and I've cleaned off the glass. Now, I am going to give some special attention to the frame. I sanded all of this off with 220 already, so it's nice and smooth, but it does have some grooves in there. And I'm going to paint all of this black since it's going to be showing. So the entire frame of the window, I'll spray in flat black, but I have to mask off the glass first. So let's do that. All right, so I just put a couple coats on it and it's getting late. It is almost Sunday morning, just a little bit before midnight. So I'm gonna get some rest and we'll hit this hard in the morning. All right, so here's another satisfying tape video. We get to peel back. Looks good. Final thing to do is to get that seal around here. And let me show you what we'll be using. This is 3M's black super weather strip adhesive. So I've gotten 2 tubes. I feel like I'll only need 1, but just in case, right? What I plan to do, we'll lay this down, we'll put the seal on top of it, and then we'll put tape over all of that to kind of sandwich it in. But you don't want to put tape on there if you feel like the paint is going to lift. The long and short of it is the seal that goes around this sunroof is the hardest part of removing all of this, and the longest you're gonna have to wait before you can do anything else. So my recommendation is get it to this point as soon as possible. So everything is nice and clean. I've taken the GBodyParts seal, I've measured it all the way around. Everything looks great there. Now I'm going to take my weather strip seal here, and you want to apply it to not only the part that faces you, like where the rivets are, but also on the inside as well, because you're hugging both of those points with your replacement. So here goes. Now, this can be messy if you don't work smart. So what I'll do is, there is this seam that is right here on the seal. You want to match that up with there, right? Now, that's a good amount. What I'll start doing is I have tape set and ready to hold all this together. So I'm gonna use that as I work. And that way, I turn a really messy job into a really clean one, because I'm not fumbling trying to get this thing lined up as I work. Now, make it taut, all right? Don't feel like you're doing too much by trying to pull it a little bit, but make sure it's stabilized as well. Okay, now that the first ridge is done, you can come here and fit the rest of it over. All right, now look at that. That's nice, right? So as that starts to set up, we're gonna give that 24 hours. I am turning attention to this seal, which is a whole lot easier to go in. So the important part about this sunroof seal, the only thing you really have to remember is this third indentation where the seal is cut out. You have one that's on the outside, the second one faces the inside, and the third one goes right here. You need that cut out so you can match it up right here, because this bracket, it rises over the lip versus this one that kind of goes underneath it. So you can really see in there that this lip is higher than that, whereas this one is not. So keep that in mind. You want the third cutout to rest squarely on this, and then you can just work backwards from there, making sure the same thing happens on the other side and everything else lines up in the back. So let's do that right now. All right, so that went in really easily. And if you did it, you would notice that there's an alignment mark right here. So it's very important to get that lined up. That lets you know you're on the right track. And then there's also this piece of foam that comes in the kit. And at first I didn't know what it's for, but it's clearly for entering in here and both sides to fill up the gap that's in the seal. So we'll do that, and then we'll put the same adhesive on it to make sure that the sunroof is sealed. Oh no. Everybody, I am so excited. Today is the day that I get to reinstall everything on the car. Look at what I got. Here's the glass. The seal is adhered everywhere. Everything looks great there. I've gotten this all cleaned up. Tracks are lubricated with dry lube. Everything else is cleaned up. Adhesive is removed. Adhesive has been applied here, so we're good there. So this seal is on, that seal is on. I've gotten, this is my sunshade. That's been covered. I put my tracks back on. Everything looks good there. It's been sitting dried for a long time now. And finally, this is the surround piece that was cracked before. I've fixed the cracks. I've painted it all black to match the rest of the interior, and everything is good to go. So I've got my bag of bolts here. I have reviewed the videos of the disassembly, so I know how things are gonna go back in there. Let's just throw you on time lapse and we'll get it installed. So I had a bit of a snag in installing the sunroof. Have you ever had one of those moments where you got so far with something and you're really questioning whether you just want to continue on or do the right thing and take it back apart and redo it? I just had one of those moments. I'm gonna do it the right way, but I just want to show you where I messed up so you don't do the same thing. So right down here where that chrome strip comes across, earlier in the episode, I removed the tape that was here and I did not replace it. The adhesive that was there on that tape damaged the top of the shade. And unfortunately, I cannot get rid of that stain. I do have to tear this back apart and rewrap it. It'll cost me a little bit of time, but I'm glad that the sunroof does move and work the way it's supposed to. I'm bummed that I will waste time doing this, but better to do it now than when it's back in the car, because dropping this thing, it's not the highlight of my day. So let me get this rewrapped and we will do round two. So I'm gonna do the majority of this off camera, but I just want you to see, it looked like a Furby exploded in here. I've gotten everything smoothed down with 120. All of my tools and equipment are all fuzzed up, but I'm gonna feel a lot better knowing that this is done right and put back together well. So I'll do some final sanding on this and then I will get the replacement on. Thankfully, I've got all that old stuff ripped off. Here goes. All right, so everything is setting up for 30 seconds. And that's the key to this stuff. You spray Super 77 on both surfaces, you wait 30 seconds, and then you stick them together. You make sure everything is lined up the first time, the right time, because unsticking and resticking is not the ticket. So while I wait, I want to show you all the remainder of the fabric that's left after you do it twice. And here's my phone case. Looks really close, so maybe it's wishful thinking, but well, 30 seconds are up. Let's get it stuck. All right, so my work area is clean again. All is right with the world, and I've lost half a day, but at least this is something that I can be proud of again. So I made sure that there's no more adhesive showing on that shiny part in there, and it's enough for me to get this back in. So let me get it back in there and then get it back in the car. I want to also give you an update on these panels. So I've been working on these panels, trying to get them to a smoother state. I've used high build primer on it so far. Everything is just ripe for sanding. So once I sand it down, I'll be ready for paint. And that goes for 1, 2, and 3 parts on there. All right, so everything is in. I gave it a few more cycles to make sure it's all great, and I think it's time. So I can't get it on camera, but I will get this into the car, bolted up, and we'll see how it operates once it's in the car. Hey everybody, it's the next day and everything is all great with the sunroof. It works perfectly fine. Here it is. Gotten everything bolted up in the inside. So happy with it. It was a lot of work. Let me show you how it works. So ignition on. Nice. Back up. Works perfect. It's not a job for the faint of heart. I would put a long weekend as a timeline for getting it down, replaced, cleaned up, repainted, everything that you need to do on it. But all in all, it's definitely something you can do at home. Just have a second pair of hands when you need to drop it. And make sure you get all the parts from Gbody Auto Parts, Highway Stars. Any reputable dealer will have it for you, and you know it's gonna fit right. So on the next episode, I'm turning attention away from Astroroof and finally getting back onto the new Buick. So I don't have keys for it. So first off, it's going to be getting the ignition working, trying to get it on, seeing if the motor's free, trying to start it up. I'll try to cram all that in one episode, but we will see. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.